I'd like to talk about cultivation, bringing fruition. And so, cultivating often means like doing the work and elevating mentality, concentration, and um, you can call it a peaceful spiritual practice to be able to carry peace as a spirit. To cultivate means I'm not getting caught up by the edges. You know, it's already here. Also, without agenda for power, which we call political agenda. Um, not in it necessarily for the health benefits, but recognizing the health benefits of cultivating spiritually because it affects the body, the mind, the thoughts, all of it. Cultivation of truthfulness, to be the truth, knowing that the truth will stand after everything falls. Um, that there's really only love, so cultivating compassion to be able to love others, cultivating forbearance, which is another way of saying sovereignty or innately empowered state, morality, so treat others the way you want to be treated. It's turning inward, it saves the self, and turning outward, saves others. But from turning inward and we save the self, we can see the inner of others. We come from the spirit again. So, and also this idea of continual rotation. So cultivation means my work will have value. I won't always be in the cultivating state. And things become forever transformed, forever refined. And it's the mind intent of cultivation is to become a disciple, to learn what you're working with the soil you're trying to plant seeds in, the threshing floor afterward of like whatever you're trying to filter out, sediment versus things floating to the top. You really have to know what you're working with. And this requires maintenance, endurance, diligence. It's a kind of athleticism of the mind. That's when we say to be a disciple is to be disciplined. It's like an athlete, but in the mind. And when I talk about refinement, forever transforming, it's, for example, things like our temper. Will we ever get upset about that again if we keep practicing, for example? And that's the idea of fire. Fire can be like purifying and also, bending metal or even melting metal. And so that is a type of cultivation as well. It also is to, getting too hot, like the temper, we see that it's exploding. It's like volcano instead of being simmering and boiling and life, pro-life kind of. And ascension requires annihilation to the universe properties. We call this being able to ascend, like getting past the soil means you got to grow upwards. You won't get past the soil if you keep growing in left and right in all different directions. So ascending means you have to follow the law of how the nature works over there. So the universe properties, I'm talking about being a spirit, going in, not getting attached to form, but then also it requires taking your form with you. So being the information. Being information means downloading these codes of practice, cultivation, bearing the fruit, being somebody who practices it when it's difficult as who you are rather than what you're trying to be. And it's raising awareness of those who are persecuted, those who are unfairly treated. It is, it's also like a form of exercise. It's being able to always do better, like push yourself to the edge each time. Now, one day doing better looks very different than another day. It's not a linear process, but it's doing better. So do something as best as you can is a little hard. We say like, do it your best. What is my best? My best yesterday is different than today. So exercise means you go to the limit. When you stretch into the limit. And I learned a lot about all of this from Falun Gong, which is the Falun Dafa. It's kind of like Buddhism, Taoism, parent. And I learned a lot about discipline, about cultivation, and, what am I trying to cultivate? What am I trying to bear fruits? And I was reading, often about all these different things, and sometimes I think it's money, sometimes I think it's a partner, but it's really this deep sense of home. It's this sense of I'm going to be okay, everything's taken care of, I can shut off the doubts and the worries, and so when I feel homesick, I have to that's the title of this. I'm going to do a little exercise, but I'm going to kind of just like read off, what am I trying to cultivate? What are the fruits? So I'm worthy of being a priority, of generosity, of being important, of being chosen, of being preferred. When I feel homesick is when I don't feel that way, and I'm dreaming of when I will be. I want to have a tribe. I want to feel commune, like I belong. I want to have a husband who treats me like a queen, adores me, respects me, trusts me, supports me, connects to me, and I feel like all in those ways I get to be my best self. I get to show off how the life force energy comes through me. I want to have a garden or a homestead and plant and grow fruits and veggies in a physical way. I want to cultivate. When I was a child, I wanted to be a vet, and then I, worked as a dog sitter, pet care, cats, so on, and, rescue shelters. And I really still kind of want to be a vet, an animal doctor. And, I want to have a baby. I want to have a light-filled home, a lighthearted approach. And I want to have enough money to go on vacations and travel. I miss it. I was looking at photos, for Joyful June. It said, share some memories with somebody who means a lot. And I found so many with family, friends, backpacking, travels. And, I'm going to finish with this. There's some factors for predicting value that I learned from The Ascent of Money by Neil Ferguson. And it's about, how do you say that I want to have the option later? We have to like to be able to get this thing at this value. I don't want it to become something that's more at a higher cost to me. So we have to take into account unpredictable movement of that in the period of time. Like, how unpredictable is this, is this sense of home in, let's say, the next 6 months? I want to say that in 6 months I'm willing to pay this amount for home, for the feeling of home, for example. So you have to think about, how much does it fluctuate? How volatile is it, this movement of home, stock in home? And then, the price to pay for saving the option of getting something at a price in the future if it goes up in value. So, do I have to pay a little extra to commit to say I'll still get it, even though, it may not feel like home out here or in there, or, things might change and then home might become even more valuable. How much is it worth it to build a home? And, then there's this, the variables that come from this group, this pair of researchers, Black and Scholes, and they came up with a whole equation, and it took into account the current value of the home, and they say current price, market price of stock, the agreed upon future price at which the option could be exercised, and for me that would be like, how valuable will home be in the future, and then the expiration date of the option, like how long do I have to actually take this up on this, and risk-free rate of return in economy as a whole. So it's like, how often is it like coming back to me anyway in the whole economy, like if I invest in it, that I get back something out of it, like in general, the economy, like how likely is it that if I put in the investment, I'll get back home, which I'm looking to get. And finally, the crucial variable, which is the expected annual volatility of the stock, the likely fluctuations of its price between the time of purchase and the expiration date. And so this is like, how much of damage do I do to my home, or like how often do I sabotage the home environment? And this is all very worth it to think about when I feel, do I make it at home for a possible child, for a garden? Can I make a home for a husband, for myself, for a lighthearted approach with guests and babies? And, can I make everyone feel chosen? Like, these very things that I value, am I able to put that into account? And so, I wish you all to cultivate toward bringing fruition and using homesickness as a way of prediction of value, of values, of value, attainment, I would say. And thank you for spending time with me.